Hello everyone. I don't know if this is going to be the most exciting video that's ever been on my channel, but basically the long and short of it is that this is my garage storage unit that I've got here in Falmouth. It's not actually attached to my house, it's actually in this sort of big underground layer kind of place, which I'm not going to show you too much of because other people have got garages here as well and it's all their property. But as you can see, this place could really do with a decent bit of sorting out. I've got about 8 bikes in here, loads of climbing gear, there's just tons of mess up there, cardboard boxes, stuff. And the thing is as well, it's not even full, because my demo rig usually goes there and my demo rig is in the van at the moment, and I was like, I just have to tidy this out because I've got like frames and components and bits of metal and stuff that I just never use anymore and don't need to have lying around. So it's time for a proper tidy, see what we can get rid of, see what we can move out. So the first part of this video is going to be me pretty much dragging everything like that's in here out of the way out into this space here. One of the good things about this area that we have down here is that, as you can see, other people either side of my garage park their cars in front of their garage, which they're perfectly they're perfectly welcome to do. The thing is, obviously I cannot park my car in front of my garage because there is this great big pillar right here, which I've got my pub bike just hanging off. But what I can do, and what other people have done as well, is there's nothing that says you can't leave stuff in front of it, because there's a great big shutter door over there which can go down, and then, you know, it's only the people that actually come in here that see whatever's out here. So I've already got one filing cabinet here. I'm thinking of actually seeing if I can move a couple of the other ones out here. So I've just got some space here, and make some space in there for other stuff. So yeah, right. So first things first is to get all of the loose crap out of here, and yeah, see what space we can free up that way to start with. So yeah, this is me cleaning out my closet. Enjoy. So luckily, in reality, I have actually kept this relatively clean, relatively tidy, as it were, despite having a lot of stuff in here. So just removing those few boxes and those bikes and things has freed up a bit of space, so I can actually kind of show you what I've got in here. So starting at the top here, first of all, we've got the paddle boards. So they are in, they're all in the place that they need to be. So we've got a little one over there. This is the big bluefin family kind of one, and then we've got my kind of sort of slightly quicker one that I go out with. So those are the paddle boards. They can stay exactly where they are because they are out of the way, and that is good. So one of the biggest issues that I actually have is shoes. So whether it's shoes like this, which are shoes that my dog actually tried to eat years ago and have got, you know, they've worn through quite a bit, but there's still some usable soles in them, I guess. Or whether they are climbing shoes like these. When I get at least one of those boxes up there is full of shoes, and today my job is to throw them out. Now, I haven't really spoken about this on the channel yet, but I have a neurodiversity condition which is called Asperger's syndrome, which some people will probably have heard of, other people might not have done. But like one of my things is one of my neurotypical things is not being able to let stuff go. So it's not just, I mean, I'm not a hoarder or anything like that. I'm really not. That's a very different and serious psychological condition. But I don't throw things away unless I think I really don't need them again. But the problem is my head gets a bit twisted with those kind of things, and I sort of go like, oh no, what if I need that one day or another day? Which is why, as you can see here, for example, I have got an old Limey frame, an old Echo frame, a Heatsink 24 frame. There is an old GTI drive frame back there, I think, and there is also a Specialized frame back there. I mean, I am in reality never going to use any of those frames. So one of the things today is to get them all out, put them all on the internet and sell whatever of them I can, and otherwise throw away the ones I can't. Apart from, I think, that Limey frame, because I might one day use that Limey frame, and I also cannot sell it because it was actually given to me by Dan Jones from Bike Hop. So it would be really unethical if I sold that, and I wouldn't do that. So yeah, but then otherwise up there I've got like sleeping bags, camping chairs, all kinds of gumph, and then, you know, there's like chainsaws and things back there, slack lines, the PA kit for everything. The bigger stuff like the PA kit, and these are things for the other business I run, the slackline school, and then down here is all the scaffolding and stuff. That can all stay pretty much exactly where it is, but a lot of other things are just going to need a bit of tidying. So what I'm actually going to do now, before I try and attack any of that, is I'm going to tidy up my my tree surgery climbing kit, and then I'm going to try and see if I can move a couple of these filing cabinets out here, because top tip, filing cabinets are absolutely brilliant, especially if you have a lot of clutter like I do. I'm going to go through a lot of this, but especially if you have stuff like key clamp connectors, like I've got hundreds of bits like this, and I've even got more stuff out here. Like this is the smaller size key clamp stuff that I've got, which is, I don't mind it being stored out here, because there is still a very big door that someone would have to get through there, and it's relatively worthless stuff. It's not even worth much in weight of scrap metal, but it's worth something to me because I build stuff out of it, and I'm going to build some stuff out of it as soon as I have finished doing this. So yeah, right. Let's see if we can get some of this stuff out and go from there. So that's great, because what I've essentially just done now is to free up all of this space here. And actually, my demo rig would usually go there, and those boxes can now go there, because these boxes have got a load of old tools and stuff in that I'd want to keep. So yeah, they can go there, which is good. And that's freed up that space, because everything in here is, as I said before, it's just junk really, that doesn't necessarily need, you know, old tins of paint and things that don't need to be kept under lock and key. But if this was a garage out on the street, I couldn't do that, but as it's in here, it's actually quite good. So yeah, that's a good start. Right, I'm going to carry on tidying up and see what we can do next. Top tip for anyone who has a garage or a storage unit: get a bin, a proper bin with a bin bag. So this was, at one point or another, a spare demo bike, which, honestly, I can't believe it ever actually worked. It's so janky and horrible. So I think what I'm actually going to do, I know that the frame is kaput basically. It's the headset is just a horrible amount of play in that. No, I think I'm just going to change that. So what I'm going to do is really quickly, I'm going to take this bike apart so that I can put it away properly, because otherwise I know I'm just going to keep moving it around. It's not going to get put anywhere proper, and it's just going to be in the way. So right, let's get rid of this. Right, well that is one frame now stripped down and fortunately ready to go to the tip. The headset cups and the bottom bracket and the chain and everything else, they're useless. So yeah, this was a really good frame. I think it's an Echo Pure 15, 14? I don't know. I really liked it, but it got smashed around a lot. It's cracked in a load of places. It looks janky and horrible. The headset is flared and all over the place. It is time for it to retire. So yes, that is going to go in the bin. And now we keep tidying. Now I've got 4 of these boxes, and as you can see, none of them is completely full, but they've just got loads of stuff, trials parts, components and things. So what I'm going to try and do is see if I can condense at least 4 of these down to 3, and then I've got 1 more to store other stuff in, because there is, as you can see, an endless amount of other stuff in there. Non-tapered 26-inch forks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of with steerer tubes at various lengths. In terms of handlebars, I've got set of Mad handlebars, a set of trial ones from when Cox was still a thing, a set of completely unbranded bars. I think they might be, oh, I don't know. A set of Trial Tech ones on a Bonds stem, no, trial stem that I can't get off, a set of clean bars, and then a set of Trial Tech SLs on an Echo stem. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of bars, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of forks. So I've got lots of bars and forks. Okay, so after all the stuff that I moved out and got rid of the other day, I've got a little bit more space and stuff, but there's still just so much stuff in here that I need to properly clear out and get rid of. The one thing that I really want to do today, when I first got this garage, all of these shelves and stuff came with it, which was really great, and they're really good shelves because you can adjust the height and make space for everything. But what I also did was I built this kind of sort of mezzanine thing to put stuff up there, and it's cool, but it's just one, there's a lot of stuff up there I just don't need and I need to get rid of, and 2, it's made out of like quite janky old plywood, which I could use the plywood for something else much better, but I thought I was going to go and buy some proper like heavy duty plywood, but it's so expensive, plywood at the moment. It's unbelievable. Even second-hand plywood is really expensive. And I thought, what can I use instead of that to sort of bridge that gap? Because it's quite an unusual shape here, like the garage, because I've got this big sort of duct thing here, but then there's another 3 feet up there, and there's also space over there as well, above where the bikes are hanging on the other side of that. So what I actually thought, instead of buying plywood, which would be really expensive, is, if I just turn my head torch on so you can see, I've got these. I've got two old wooden doors which were free on Facebook Marketplace. They were, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, I don't know why, doors, there's always tons of them because people are always renovating houses and moving stuff around and things. And they are free or cheap as chips. I think the door on the brown door there, that cost me a £5 and the white one was free. And they're just made of really strong wood. So what I'm going to try and do is take all of that stuff out of there first, have a good clear out, get rid of the stuff that I don't need, and then take down all of that. Because also what I've got, which is a bit of a problem, is this pole here is kind of, it's in the way of getting these bikes out. So what I'm going to try and do is see if I can make the doors stretch all the way over and then lean on this railing here, which is holding the bikes up. Now, I'm going to reinforce that railing because it's only held in by a couple of raw bolts and screws, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes hanging on it at the moment. And it's okay, but I don't think it's going to survive the strength, have the strength to hold a couple of big shelving units as well. So I'm going to move that and see if I can, no, I'm not going to move that, I'm going to reinforce that. That's the plan, basically. But what that unfortunately means is I have to get all of this stuff out, all of this stuff and everything that's up there, and not fall over while I'm doing it. So yeah, that's going to be a pain, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, continue with the tidying job. And I don't know if you can see, but I've got my little helper here with me today. This is Red, my dog, who is yeah, getting used to the van, which she needs to do. So yeah, right, I'm going to crack on and hopefully clear some stuff out. So let's see what happens. Okay, so I've made a fairly good dent in things, and I've just got thin bits of webbing there, things that attach things to other things in there, and a big box of rope and webbing in there, and all of that was just spread across so much stuff. And then I've got climbing gear and slacklining attachments in there, so I've got that to figure out what to do with. But yeah, cool. Right, so now all I've got to do is think which order to do this all in, and tidy some of that stuff out there, and then start getting all this stuff down. So yes, fun. So just to give you guys an idea, I've literally been up there for 20 seconds just throwing stuff down, moving stuff out, and just to give you an idea of how much junk I have up here. So you've got old frames, loads of camping chairs for some reason. There's boxes back there. There's like a dozen tires and wheels and rims. Some that I've had literally for 15 years and never used. So all of that's coming out, and then I'm going to remove all of this stuff and try and build something new. So here we go. So it's now, long story short, day 3 of me trying to tidy and sort my garage out, which looks like there's not 3 complete days of me sorting. Like yesterday I was only here for about an hour and a half. But yeah, I've got a plan now, because initially what I thought I was going to do was that I would, hang on, it's going to be easier if I turn this around. So initially what I thought I would do is basically have the doors going all the way across here. So they would lean on this shelf and on top of this rail, with an extra bit of key clamp attached to it so they didn't foul where the hooks are hanging. The problem being is that actually what I didn't do was measure this before I started, because the gap between here, that edge, and where that rail is about 2 inches too short, which is good and bad, because it means I've had to scratch my head and figure out what I'm going to do. But what I think I'm going to do, what I'm fairly sure I'm going to do, is first of all I'm going to move this cupboard, which is full of very heavy stuff, so I'm going to have to take all that out, and I'm going to put it right at the back down there, and then put wood on top of it, and then put the door on top of that, so it's just going to sit there. So the door is basically going to provide a nice shelf right here, which is going to be great. And actually it might also go into over that bit over there, so I can store stuff up there, which would also be good. And that's fine, so the thing's going to sit on that. But then what I really want, is to have one door there, and then a gap, and then another door going across here, so I can put this ladder up in between and access both bits. Because the problem I've got right now with this thing up here is it's a big long thing, and I actually can't reach the stuff at the back without using a hook of some kind or something, so it's not very effective. And I've got this sort of dead space kind of up to where this bit is here, so I've also been thinking about basically putting another shelf across this bit here so that I can stack stuff there as well, because I've got, essentially, this is a void space that I'm just not using. So I'm going to try and figure all that out. But before I do that, I have to get down here, because in order to make something that's going to hold this middle door, I need another pole separate of that that's going to go behind there. It's complicated, but I basically need to get in there, and somehow, really frustratingly, I think the pole that I need is this one, and it's under all of these, and I can't use any of the bigger size poles because they won't fit behind that bar there, so I need to get that one out. So I am going to put some gloves on because I don't want any more mishaps like I did with my hand the other day, and I'm going to start pulling some stuff out and make sure I've got the right stuff to do what I think I'm going to do before I take all of that apart. Fingers crossed. So now that I've got the pole that I think I need, which is that one, I need to go and find all the different connectors which are going to be in here, make sure I've got exactly the right connectors for what I need to do what I need to do, which will make sense when it comes around to it. Basically, it's going to be like a hanging, I can't even describe it, it's so stupid, but I'm going to figure it out. But the thing I'm well aware that I have to do is that I have to take all the bikes off of that rack in order to get, or at least most of the bikes off that rack in order to, get that pole in there, which I have to do. So, this is me getting all of my bikes out. So that is all but 2 of the bikes. And yes, the Zoot does not have any handlebars on it, but it needs them, so we're going to sort that out. But for now, they're out of the way. The next thing I've just remembered as well is I'm going to have to move some of these shelves, which are all stacked down here, basically. But all these shelves here, which are stacked exactly where I need to put something, so I'm going to need to move them as well. Some of the most useful things in the world. Reusable zip ties. So this is the current collection of stuff, which I think I'm going to put these on the internet, see if anyone wants any of them. Otherwise I'm going to build them up, I think, because I've got more than enough spare parts and things kicking around up there, and handlebars and forks in places, obviously. So we've got, first of all, we've got an Echo. I want to say that's an Echo Pure or an Urban. But I know that it's like a 1/16 spacing rear hub, so that's a weird one. But I do know also I've got a wheel that fits it up there, which is good. Heatsink 24 UK with really nice anodized seat clamp, 4-bolt braking mounts, disc mounts, everything else like that. This one, to be honest, I'm pretty sure someone gave me as well because they just weren't using it. But I think I'll do the same thing. If anyone wants this 24 UK frame, please do just let me know. Otherwise, I might build it up with the parts from the Zoot if I feel like doing that. The Limey frame, this one, to be honest, I actually might keep it, because if my Limey breaks, I might use this one to replace it, and that can just be my sort of forever spare bike. This one, if you're seeing Duostone written on the side of a lot of these frames, and there was on the Echo, which I threw away yesterday, Duostone was a clothing company that I used to be sponsored by, and I resprayed all my bikes and put Duostone stickers on them because it was kind of cool. But that is, I'm fairly sure, like a Halfords Carrera. It's basically, it's a Kona that's like a rebranded one, and it was actually a really nice bike when I had it, and it does also have a Fox Float RP2 shock on there, so the shock is at least worth something. Specialized SX Trail 2, again, I loved this bike. That has got a Fox DHX 5.0 shock on it, and it's also got some RockShox Revert forks, which seem pretty nice. And then what have we got? Tioga bar and stem there, which is all pretty cool. Again, I really liked that bike. The only one of these that I really didn't like that much, but that I did sort of covet quite a lot, was this iDrive 5, which I never really got on with. But pretty much all of these frames are now for sale. If anyone wants them, get in touch. They are all 26, apart from the UK, the 24 UK, which is a 24-inch one. But if anyone's interested in 26-inch mountain bike enthusiasts that want to build something up for a bit of fun, then do give it a shout. Otherwise, I'm going to build them up and use them on my channel, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, right, need to get the rest of the stuff down. So I've got most of the stuff down, but I mean, this is the stuff that's going to get me divorced before I even get married. I mean, honest to God, some of these tyres, I mean, there's some really nice tyres there. There's some Tiogas, there's some Schwalbes and stuff, but I honestly have had some of these since before I moved to Cornwall, which was in 2008. And I've just carried them around and around and around. So, yeah, gonna have to do something with them. But let's see if we can get them down first. So, I mean, that has just cleared a whole load of space up there. I just need to get that box down now. But I mean, in case anyone was honestly wondering, this is what a lifetime obsession kind of looks like. We've got here, so that's a 321 disc wheel on a front hub. All these are 26. D521 rim, another Mavic, I think it's an X51. Echo rear wheel, that fits on the yellow frame. So many Trials rims and wheels and hubs, and more of them over there. I think in there as well there's like an original Onza Ronnie wheel, yeah, there with the red rim tape. And then over here, like, just so many tyres. Schwalbe, Michelin, another Michelin, I think there's Continental in there, Maxxis. I mean, yeah. And literally, so if you want to get an idea, you see all this stuff here, and then all of these bikes and things here. all of this stuff here, some of these boxes weigh 100 kilos. All of this stuff here, all of this stuff, and then all of this as well. This is why I am so happy that I have this storage unit, because I own this. For the last 10 years, honestly, it's maybe not been this much stuff, but you know, some of this stuff started off in my uni bedroom. Like when I was at uni 15 years ago, I had tyres and things just like under my bed and stuff. And some of those tyres are still in that pile there. They're probably the oldest things that I own that are here, because I'm like, I just never want to get rid of them. But they've moved from place to place, from garage to garage, house to house. You know, for a while I was working at the skate park and I had some storage space there, but you know, it was never like secure. But I own this. So again, don't want to make too much of a social commentary or anything, but you know, it's good if you own somewhere like this and you can't ever have a landlord kick you out. I don't want to go into my feelings on rent and everything else and stuff, but yeah, at least I know I've got this space. But the problem is I fill this space and now I'm removing stuff around to try and make more space, because I just never happy. I'm like, oh, I can fit more stuff in if I just change things around. But I have actually thrown out a lot of stuff, which is really good. So we're working in the right direction. I am sorry if this is turning into the longest, most boring video of just a dude cleaning out his garage, but it's interesting to me. And you know, if I manage to make these like platforms work across here, then that'll be really good. And yeah, I'll be you know, you can take any advice from the things that I have done and go, hey, that worked in his place. So yeah, right. I'm going to take the rest of that down, and then I'm just going to take these shelves down. Just do it. Okay, so let's crack on. So I honestly couldn't tell you how I constructed this thing in the first place, because this big bit of ply is just sat on top of these, which is just sat on top of this, and nothing is actually attached to anything. So I don't actually know how to get this down without just making a big old mess. So that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be a big mess. So hopefully I come out of this with all the fingers that I started with. Let's see what happens. So one of the great things I really like about these shelves is that all the shelving heights are basically completely adjustable. You got these amazing racking systems here, and what you just do is you take these little things, and so I want this one to be basically right at the top, so I can just put all four of those, if they want to move, up there. I need two hands to do that one, so I'll do that in a sec. And then I've got something which can sit right about there, which is great. What's even greater as well is there's actually already these pre-drilled holes in here, so when I put the door in there, I can just screw straight into that and hold it in place. So, despite an almighty amount of struggling and grunting, that cupboard, which was here, is now there, which is perfect because it means I can arrange some of those bits of wood on top and put the door across there, and then it should sit really nice and flat and level, hopefully. But yeah, the problem now is, of course, that I have been here for 2.5 hours, and all I've done is make a bigger mess, and I have to go home and walk the dog in a minute and eat something. So yeah, I'm going to chuck one of the doors up there and hope that it does something, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So just in case anyone's wondering, these are called Really Useful Boxes. It's the Really Useful Box Company, and they are stackable, they are really strong. You can buy really cheap ones. I've got, like, there's a couple out there that are really cheap plastic boxes and they're just broken and everything. These, as long as you don't go crazy with them, are super strong. They stack, they're really manageable and handy, and they are, as they say, just really useful. So get loads of the same box, stack all your stuff in them, and they're really useful. Now, moment of truth. Can you guys see this? Move that over to there. As you say, moment of truth. Can we get 3 of these boxes up the top? Look at that. Absolutely perfect. And I think I'll be able to stack more on there as well. Anyway. Look at that. 3 boxes stacked perfectly up there, so I can fit another 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there. I'm going to go and buy some more of these boxes actually, because I definitely need them. Okay, so I've gone home, had lunch, walked the dog and everything else like that. So now I've got that. That works. We know it works in principle. So what I need to do now is to take everything off there and then set it up actually where I want it to be and cut the wood down to the right size so it all looks right and stuff, and then do the same thing with the other one and get all of this stuff back in here somehow. So yeah, let's work that out. Right, so this shelf is just a demonstrable success. So 6 really nicely packed boxes, all of fairly light things that I can get up and down relatively easily, including got the bike, the mountain bike box, the trials box. There's the stuff that I sleep in when I sleep in my van, webbing, some sleeping bags, and my slacklining kit. for long lines and stuff. There's also my bouldering mats are in there and they fit perfectly. Got 3 trials frames in there and I can probably fit a few more. And by adding this one bit of wood here, I've also got these 3 mountain bike frames in this void space up here. So making way more use of the space already. And there's more space up here as well. I can put in another shelf here above where these chainsaws are, and I can put some other stuff on there. So it's good. And the best thing now, because there used to be a pole right here and it was just a pain to get any bikes off of this rack. Now I can do that relatively easily. I will say, I know that it's made out of an old door, but it still looks relatively nice. This bit is a little bit janky, and actually these bits of wood are literally just balancing there. They're not actually screwed in or anything, but they work. It's fine. It's all we need right now. So yeah, now what I'm going to do, what I did do earlier, which you might have seen me do, whether I put it in the video or not, was I put another bar up through here, which was going to press against this thing and then have a fixing coming down so that if we hung something across there, we could screw it onto that thing hanging down, because there's nothing to hang on there. And I realised, hang on a second, I've got these. What I've done with this one is the shelf is standing on top of the cupboard. I've got these units here, these filing cabinets. All I have to do really is shuffle them along so they're in line with this thing. If I could have done it from there, I would have done, had another sort of thing like that. I probably could do something like that, where I'd have something there. Frustratingly, I'm now looking at that going, that looks really good. If I got a third door and put it there, would that save me having to move these things? Well, I'm going to think about that and see what we can do. But yeah, this is just, that's made so much of a difference already. I think what I'm going to do while I'm thinking about that is I'm going to hang some bikes back on here to get them out of the outside so that, yeah, we can just get a better sense of things and go from there. Right. And that's that. So that is, yeah, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes. And then I've got my road bike, well, my pub bike is hanging out there, and my trials bike is actually lurking down over there somewhere. But yeah, they're all in. They do obstruct this cupboard a bit, but to be honest, I could still, like, I can get into whatever I need just by sort of rolling them. And because it's a rail, you can actually move them along it relatively easily. And I've got more room here to put another one. I think my trials bike might actually live there now if it wants to, if it feels like it could. I've also just discovered that these big boxes that I've just emptied are perfect sizes for wheels, which is wonderful because wheels are the things which are, they're just in the way so much. Because they're just an odd shape, so that's hopefully going to be a really good sorting thing. Now what I'm wondering, I think I am going to do this, and I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd figured this out earlier, is I'm going to leave those there because it's less hassle to move them. I'm going to try and put a door from there across to here, move the paddle boards quickly, and then I've got just a platform here, which would be perfect, as long as I can get things to sit on there and they don't foul that thing. I might move the boxes, these things a little bit that way, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So one thing just to note, if you can hear any weird sounds during this video from outside, it's Halloween tonight, which is why there are weird sounds going on. So people making strange noises, I think, or they're just crazy people, I don't know. But either way, I've just spent a very long time, about 45 minutes, folding tyres. But all those tyres that were in a massive heap now all fit into that box, which is wonderful. But now I really do need to get on with it and sort out some of this other stuff, so that I can hang. I've got another door which is going to hang like across here, from like where that pole is to this shelf here, and then that'll be even more space that I can store stuff at the top. But yeah, I need to get on with it and do that. So yeah. The great thing about doing that is, because the weight is on that, it's not going to slip down. But if you just do that, then you can move it and adjust it to wherever you want and need it to be. It's actually a really clever racking system, so I'm going to have to remember that. And yeah, to be honest, I'm going to put the door on there, and then it's just a case of like, you know, adjusting it to where exactly I want it to be, which is great. And also these are going to act as straps, so I can attach this to them, which is even better. Right, okay, time to move some stuff. So after a lot of sort of hammering and banging, bearing in mind this is just freestanding stuff, yeah, I think we've kind of got the racking system sorted. So if I come around this side, it'll be easier to see. There's this void space up here, which there's just nothing much I can do with unless what I've done. So these crossbars here are basically, because the door is going to come from that shelf there and it's going to sit on these. Weight sitting on that is obviously going to potentially pull those bars forward and potentially pull this rail off the wall, which I really don't want it to do, because this rail is holding, at the moment, 5 bikes, and there's 2 more bikes to go on it, so I don't want to overload it. So I've put those things in as braces to stop the lateral movement going that way. What that also means, though, is I can actually put some boards across that and make it level, and make it a big shelf, and I can just put other stuff up there as well. So that's opened up some more of that space as well, which is great. Right, now there's nothing more for it. I need to just move that computer box, and then let's chuck a door on here and see what happens. Now again, the absolute best tip I can give anyone if you want to make shelving out of stuff is go on your local Facebook marketplace and search for doors, internal or external doors, whichever ones you want, and like almost always there will be ones for free. I literally cannot believe this. It just happened, I was actually driving here today. I was about to start looking for some doors, and I drove past this one on the street with the words free stuck on it. And I was like, oh, it's amazing. It is an internal door, but it's a really heavy, good, thick wooden one. It's not hollow or anything. This one is okay, but it's, as you can see, it's not going to hold up. I might actually put another bit of wood in between that bit there just to support it a bit better. But I mean, it's, yeah, for no money, that door I actually paid a £5 for, I think. But again, it's super strong and wood and stuff. And they just make amazing shelves. And they're free. When you think plywood costs about nearly £100 a sheet now, which is crazy. And you've got stuff like this, which is free. Do it. Go get it. I mean, I admit, yes, with this one, I wasn't able to get the door handle off, which is a bit problematic, but we'll work on that. cannot believe this, but we're actually sort of getting somewhere. So I'm going to try and make this the last push and get everything kind of in somewhere, and then go from there.